Austin had always been the kind of guy who blended into the background, slinging plates at a greasy spoon in Brooklyn called Joe's Diner. It was the sort of place where truckers argued over politics and hipsters pretended to like black coffee. At 26, he was broke, gay, and barely scraping by on tips that smelled like stale fries. His apartment was a shoebox above a laundromat, where the hum of dryers lulled him to sleep most nights, dreaming of something, anything better. But dreams don't pay rent, and Austin's had faded long ago, buried under student loans from a half-finished art degree and the ghost of a family that disowned him when he came out at 18. It started on a Tuesday evening, the diner half empty as the autumn chill seeped through the cracked windows. Reginald Harrington walked in like he owned the place, which in a way he did, being one of those old-money tycoons who'd built empires on Wall Street back when typewriters were high-tech. At 80, he was frail but sharp, his silver hair combed back, eyes twinkling with a mischief that belied his age. He wore a tailored suit that screamed old Hollywood, and when he sat at the counter, Austin couldn't help but notice the way his hands trembled slightly as he ordered a black coffee and pie. "You're new here," Reginald said, his voice gravelly but warm, like aged whiskey. Austin chuckled, wiping down the counter. "Been here 5 years, sir. Guess I'm just forgettable." Reginald's gaze lingered a beat too long. "Nothing about you is forgettable, son." That was the spark. Over the next few weeks, Reginald became a regular. He'd tip extravagantly, 50s on a $10 tab, and they'd talk. Austin opened up about his life. The rejection from his conservative Texas family, the string of bad boyfriends who'd left him jaded, the quiet ache for connection in a city that chewed you up. Reginald shared stories of his youth, the roaring 60s in Manhattan, building a fortune in finance, but always with a shadow in his eyes, like there was a chapter he skipped. One night, after closing, Reginald waited outside in his chauffeured Bentley. "Walk with me," he said. They strolled through Prospect Park, leaves crunching underfoot, and Reginald confessed. "I've been alone too long, Austin. My wife passed decades ago, no kids, no family left. But you remind me of someone I lost." Austin's heart skipped. He was gay, sure, but Reginald? The old man leaned in, his hand brushing Austin's. "I know what it's like to hide, to love in the shadows. Marry me, Austin. Let me give you the life you deserve." It was insane. A whirlwind proposal under the park's lamplights, promises of wealth, security, and yes, love. Austin, drowning in debt and loneliness, said yes. They eloped in Vegas the next weekend. Reginald's private jet, a quick ceremony in a chapel that smelled like cheap perfume. Austin told himself it was practical, but deep down, there was a flicker of real affection. Reginald's kisses were gentle, his stories enchanting. For the first time, Austin felt seen. Back in New York, they moved into Reginald's penthouse on the Upper East Side, a sprawling oasis of marble floors and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. Austin quit the diner, trading his apron for silk robes. But on their first night as husbands, Reginald collapsed in the bathroom, coughing blood into the sink. Austin rushed in, panic rising. "It's nothing," Reginald wheezed, waving him off. "Old age catching up." That was the first crack. Austin dismissed it, lost in the honeymoon glow. They dined at Michelin-starred restaurants, attended galas where Reginald introduced him as "my beloved husband," shocking the blue blood crowd. Austin reveled in it, the stares, the whispers. He was no longer invisible. But whispers turned to doubts. Reginald's health deteriorated rapidly. Doctor visits in secret, pills hidden in drawers. Austin found letters, old, yellowed ones, from a man named Elias, postmarked from the 70s. "Who is Elias?" he asked one evening over wine. Reginald's face paled. "An old friend. Nothing more." Austin pressed, but Reginald shut down, retreating to his study. That night, alone in their king-sized bed, Austin wondered if he'd married a stranger. The next morning, a knock at the door shattered the illusion. A young man, mid-30s, handsome with Reginald's eyes, stood there. "I'm here to see my father," he said coldly. Austin's world tilted. Father? Reginald had said no kids. "Jonathan," Reginald greeted him weakly from the hallway. "This is Austin. My husband." Jonathan's laugh was bitter. "Husband? You're joking. After what you did to Mom. To us. The confrontation exploded. Jonathan accused Reginald of abandoning his family years ago, hiding his bisexuality behind a loveless marriage to Jonathan's mother. "You left us for your discreet affairs, Dad. And now this? Marrying some gold digger half your age." Austin recoiled. Gold digger? Was that how it looked? Reginald tried to explain, but Jonathan stormed out, vowing to contest the will. That night, Reginald broke down in Austin's arms. "I was a coward," he sobbed. "In my time being like us, it ruined lives. I married to fit in, had Jonathan, but I never stopped loving men. Elias was my first love. We met in the army during Vietnam. I left him to do the right thing. Broke his heart. And mine." Austin held him, tears streaming. For the first time, he saw Reginald not as a savior, but as a broken man seeking redemption. Their love deepened in that vulnerability. Nights of whispered confessions, tender touches that bridged decades. But the hidden truth loomed larger. Austin discovered Reginald's diagnosis. Terminal cancer, months at best. That's why the rushed marriage, to ensure Austin inherited everything, a final act of love. Or was it guilt? Conflicts brewed. Jonathan sued, claiming undue influence. Tabloids splashed headlines. Octogenarian tycoon's toy boy scandal. Austin's old friends distanced themselves, calling him opportunistic. Even Austin doubted. Was his affection real, or tainted by money? In a heated argument, Austin yelled, "Did you marry me just to spite your son? Or to ease your conscience?" Reginald's eyes filled with pain. "I married you because you make me feel alive again. Like with Elias." The name stung. Was Austin a replacement? The lawsuit dragged on, turning their penthouse into a war zone of lawyers and depositions. Austin sat through hours of testimony, listening to Jonathan paint him as a predator preying on a vulnerable old man. "He's after the fortune," Jonathan sneered in court, his voice echoing off the mahogany walls of the Manhattan courthouse. Austin wanted to scream that it wasn't true, that he'd fallen for Reginald's wit. His stories of jazz clubs in Harlem during the civil rights era, the way his laugh lines crinkled like old leather. But doubt crept in like fog over the Hudson. One evening, rummaging through Reginald's study for medical records, Austin found a locked box. Inside, photos of Elias, young and dashing in uniform, letters professing eternal love. "I'll wait for you, Reggie," one read. "Society be damned." Austin confronted Reginald in the living room, the city skyline glittering mockingly outside. "Am I just Elias 2.0? A do-over for your regrets?" Reginald, hooked to an 4 drip now, reached for his hand. "No, Austin. Elias was my past. You're my present. My choice freely made." They made love that night, slow and aching, Reginald's frail body against Austin's youth. It was raw, emotional, a bridge across generations. Austin whispered, "I love you," meaning it more than ever. Yet betrayal lurked. Jonathan, digging dirt, uncovered Austin's past. A brief stint in juvie for shoplifting as a teen, desperate after his family kicked him out. He twisted it into headlines. "Millionaire's husband has criminal record." Austin's phone blew up with hate. Texts from strangers calling him a fraud, a pervert. Worse, Reginald's health plummeted. Hospital stays became routine. The sterile beeps a soundtrack to their stolen moments. Austin sat by his bed, reading from old novels, holding hands as chemo ravaged Reginald's spirit. In a moment of weakness, Reginald confessed more. "I cut Jonathan out of the will years ago, after he found out about my preferences. He called me disgusting. But now, with you, I want to make it right. For everyone." Austin's heart twisted. "By giving it all to me? That's not fair." "It's my choice," Reginald insisted. "You've given me joy in my final days." The high drama peaked at a family mediation. Jonathan arrived with a bombshell. Proof Reginald had been secretly funding Elias's care in a nursing home upstate. Elias was alive, 82 and frail, living off Reginald's guilt money. "You've been lying to everyone," Jonathan accused. "Stringing this kid along while pining for your old flame." Austin felt the floor drop. Betrayed? He stormed out, driving Reginald's Mercedes through the rain-slicked streets to the nursing home. Elias was there, a withered man with kind eyes. "Reggie talked about you," Elias said softly. Said you healed him. They talked for hours. Elias shared their story. Forbidden love in the army, Reginald's forced marriage under family pressure, the heartbreak of separation. He never stopped loving me, Elias admitted. But life, it twists us. Austin returned home, emotions churning. Anger, empathy, love. He found Reginald waiting, eyes pleading. I should have told you. Elias is my unfinished business. But you're my happy ending. They reconciled in tears, vowing honesty. Austin pushed for family healing. A meeting with Jonathan. It was tense, words like daggers. I was wrong, Reginald admitted. I hid who I was, hurt you all. Jonathan softened, sharing his own pain. Growing up with a distant father. I just wanted you to be there, Dad. In that room, barriers crumbled. Austin saw the humanity. Generations scarred by secrecy, now seeking forgiveness. But the cancer advanced relentlessly. Reginald's days dwindled, each breath a labor. Austin nursed him at home, their love a quiet flame amid the storm. They watched sunsets from the balcony, Reginald's head on Austin's shoulder. You've made me whole, he murmured. The climax hit when Jonathan discovered Reginald's plan to split the inheritance. Half to Austin, half to charity for LGBTQ plus youth, and a trust for Jonathan. Why? Jonathan asked. Because love isn't zero-sum, Reginald replied. I want you both to thrive. Betrayal turned to understanding. Jonathan hugged his father for the first time in years. As winter blanketed the city, Reginald slipped away peacefully in Austin's arms, whispering, Thank you for loving an old fool. Grief hit Austin like a freight train barreling through the subway tunnels. The funeral was a spectacle, Wall Street moguls rubbing shoulders with drag queens from Reginald's secret Greenwich Village haunts, a testament to his hidden life. Austin stood at the podium in St. Patrick's Cathedral, voice cracking. Reginald taught me that love doesn't care about age, or secrets, or society's rules. He was my rock, my redeemer. But the aftermath was chaos. Jonathan contested the will again, claiming emotional duress. Lawyers swarmed the penthouse, turning love letters into evidence. Austin, raw and exposed, retreated to the diner, Joe's, seeking normalcy. Old co-workers hugged him, but whispers followed. Heard he got rich quick. Wonder what he did for it. Loneliness gnawed. Nights alone in the vast bed, Austin replayed memories. Their first dance in the living room to Sinatra, Reginald's laughter echoing off crystal chandeliers. He visited Elias weekly, the old man becoming a surrogate father. Reggie would be proud, Elias said, sharing faded photos of their youth. Conflict escalated when tabloids leaked more. Reginald's double life, affairs during his marriage. Jonathan used it in court. My father was manipulated in his vulnerability. Austin fought back, testifying with fire. We loved each other. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Your hate blinded you to that. The trial was a media circus, protesters outside chanting for justice. Austin's past was dragged up, his coming-out story twisted into sensationalism. He broke down on the stand, admitting, I married for security at first, but love grew. Isn't that human? In a twist, Elias testified remotely. Reginald confided in me. Austin was his true love, not a scheme. The judge, moved, ruled in Austin's favor, upholding the will. Victory was bittersweet. Austin inherited millions, but guilt weighed heavy. He reached out to Jonathan. Let's honor him together. They met at a Central Park bench, snow falling softly. I was wrong, Jonathan admitted. Dad's letters. He wrote about you with such joy. I envied that. Tears froze on their cheeks. He loved you too, Austin said. Always. Reconciliation bloomed slowly. Jonathan invited Austin to family holidays. Awkward at first, but warming. Austin used his share to fund a foundation. Harrington House, shelters for queer youth rejected by families, echoing his own pain. Romance lingered in memories, but Austin opened his heart again. At a foundation gala, he met Liam, a 28-year-old artist with kind eyes and a laugh like Reginald's. They danced under string lights, sparks flying. Tell me about him, Liam said later, over coffee. Austin did. tears and smiles mingling. He saved me. Now I save others. Their relationship grew, slow, genuine. Liam understood the ghosts holding Austin through nightmares. You're more than his widower, Liam whispered. You're you. Humanity shown in small acts. Austin visiting Elias until his passing, burying him beside Reginald in a quiet Connecticut cemetery. Jonathan attended, arm around Austin. Brothers now, he joked. The story's depth lay in forgiveness, the betrayal of secrets yielding to empathy. Austin reflected on America's tapestry, a land of reinvention, where outcasts find family in unlikely places. As spring thawed the city, Austin stood on the penthouse balcony, wind whispering promises. He'd lost, gained, broken, healed. Love, he realized, was messy, profound, a force that bridged divides. Years blurred into a mosaic of purpose and peace. Austin, now in his 30s, ran Harrington House full-time, its centers sprouting across the U.S., from bustling L.A. to quiet Midwest towns. He advocated in D.C., testifying before Congress on LGBTQ+ rights, his voice steady. My husband taught me that hiding kills the soul. Let's build a world where love doesn't hide. Liam became his anchor, their home a cozy brownstone in Brooklyn, far from the penthouse's opulence, closer to Austin's roots. They adopted a rescue dog, named Reggie, who bounded through parks, chasing squirrels like forgotten worries. Their love was steady, passionate, nights of painting together, Liam's canvases capturing Austin's essence. Resilient, radiant. But echoes of the past resurfaced. Jonathan, now a father himself, called one day. I found more letters. From Dad to you, unsent. Austin drove to Jonathan's suburban home in New Jersey, kids playing in the yard. The letters were a treasure. Reginald's final thoughts, penned in shaky hand. My dear Austin, you've given an old man a second chance at life. Don't let my shadows dim your light. Love fiercely. Forgive freely. Tears flowed as they read together. He was proud of us, Jonathan said, hugging Austin. Their bond, forged in fire, was unbreakable. A family reborn from ashes. The narrative's humanism peaked in quiet moments. Austin mentored a teen at the shelter, mirror of his younger self. Scared. Alone. It gets better, he promised, sharing his story. The kid came out, found acceptance, a ripple of change. Drama revisited when a biographer approached for Reginald's story. Austin hesitated, exposed the secrets, but Liam urged, truth heals. The book, Shadows of Love, became a bestseller, humanizing Reginald. A man trapped by era, redeemed by courage. Reviews praised its raw emotion. A testament to love's endurance in America's evolving heart. Austin faced backlash, conservative pundits decrying perversion. But support flooded. Letters from elders coming out late. Youth inspired to live authentically. In a poignant twist, Austin discovered Reginald's final secret. A hidden fund for Elias's dream. A gallery for queer artists. Austin opened it in Soho, walls alive with color. A legacy of love. The ending was humane, hopeful. On their anniversary, Austin and Liam visited the gravesite, flowers in hand. Thank you, Austin whispered to the stone. Wind rustled leaves as if replying. Life moved on, weddings, milestones. Jonathan's son came out at 16. Austin was there, uncle and guide. Your family, he said. Austin's journey, from poor waiter to empowered advocate, embodied America's promise. Reinvention through love, despite betrayal and pain. He looked back without regret, forward with hope. In the end, the hidden truth wasn't Reginald's secrets, but the profound capacity for forgiveness and growth. Austin lived it daily, his heart full, the city's pulse syncing with his own.